Hello everybody, I hope that everyone is doing well, that situation is improving and it's better at the time when you are watching this and then at the time when I'm recording it. Anyway, my name is Dejan Simovic, I'm engineer of architecture and registered architect and certified passive house designer. I have studied and graduated architecture at University of Belgrade in Serbia some 30 years ago. At the time, studies included building physics, which also included principles of what was to become passive house system. I've been working in Australia for builders and developers for most of the past 20 years, and I was involved in some of the largest residential projects in Sydney, Brisbane and Gold Coast. I believe that this gives me reasonably good understanding of passive house energy efficiency as well as a good overview of local construction industry, and I have to say that this presentation is not a scientific work but rather personal professional view by someone with quite a bit of experience. And here we are. Year is Anno Domini 2020 in Australia. It's a perfect storm for a local construction industry. First, we have a loss of confidence in the construction industry because of the very well published failures in some major residential projects. Apart from that, we have a climate change with the horrifying fires on eastern and southern seaboard last year and beginning of this year, with the loss of life and property, and large cities engulfed in toxic smoke for weeks. At the same time, we have a problem of affordability of energy, as well as constant arguments about amount of CO2 emissions and their impact on our lives. Then came COVID-19, social distancing, travel disruptions, lockdowns, closing of economy, and various other consequences. All of these issues cause challenges but also opportunities for implementation of passive house standard and system. We'll look at the individual items. Reason for loss of confidence in Australian construction industry are various. In my view, the whole system of construction has been designed by lawyers and insurance industry with aim to reduce the responsibility and avoid claims, but not through providing better quality, but through being able to pass the buck to someone else. Keyword is compliance, ticking the box where the performance and term fit for purpose are to be avoided at all costs. Establishing compliance is a segmented process where assumption is that if a single part is certified, the whole system is going to be certified, which is obviously not the case. In this environment, major challenges for implementing passive house are related to the fact that passive house is introducing disruptions in hard work and science to the whole process. It is disrupting well-established but not well-performing procedures and relationships. Some of them you can see on a screen. Established construction programming procedures, construction managers used to their own routines, establish relationships with subcontractors, suppliers. At the same time, establish contracting arrangements, which is our building contracts that are going to require significant change in order to implement passive house procedures. Those procedures will include additional inspections and testing, quality control in general, and in addition to that, it would be requirements for performance of the final product, which is not commonly accepted by participants in a procurement process. Usual defense and excuse from established system is that passive house has additional cost and it's therefore unaffordable for end users. To be fair, portion of the problem starts from planning rules and design. Requirements from designers and their designs are to be imaginative, innovative, landmark, award-winning. This leads to over-designed projects in any aspect, but in their fitness for purpose, in their performance, and in their measurable comfort and health levels. And that is where perception of additional cost of passive house is coming from. Designers will not win much recognition for delivering project that is within a budget. They need to win awards in order to get new commissions. There is no such thing as comparison of like to like. Non-performing building cannot be compared with a high-performing building any more than a non-performing car, a submarine or plane can be compared to a high-performing one. We need finally to start rewarding performance. Other industries, like the car industry here, has already accepted that form follows performance. However, in other industries, non-performing products are eliminated during the testing and prototyping stages, so non-performing products don't get to the market in most cases. Unfortunately, our industry has limited space for prototyping. Buildings are unique, once off generally, and although there is a exception there. This is why performance must be ensured during the design process through adequate engineering and quality control. Models of various kinds can assist, but there are performance gaps between models and actual products. However, there are opportunities in all of these problems. Government has recognized that problem exists with the quality of the design and the quality of delivery, and new legislation is introduced in New South Wales that will extend duty of care from all parties, developers, consultant, designers, builders, towards end users, and that is beyond actual contractual responsibility, and it's despite end users not being part of the construction procurement process. Special emphasis has been put on the quality of documentation and design supervision, which is at the same time an inherent part of the passive house standard and certification process. Changes in legislations are aimed at improving delivery, procurement, contracting, and accommodate higher levels of automation and off-site manufacturing. Most importantly, new legislation proposes changes to training and education of both designers, professionals, trade people, and builders in order to improve quality control and performance. New legislation has partly been enacted already, and actions have been taking place for New South Wales from 1st of September 2020. These are some of the opportunities for passive house in this difficult situation. Obviously, passive house is already performance-based system. Detailed design is already part of the passive house system. Quality control during construction is part of passive house system. Use of certified products, automation, and finally testing and certifying at the end of the process. What is needed is education of all parties in a delivery process about all of these benefits. Impact of a changing climate on the way we live and the way we build is undeniable, irrespective of the questions if there is a human impact or not. The situation is that our industry contributes 40% of CO2 emissions, either through building materials and construction process or through building operations. At the same time, poor energy efficiency leads to cold and hot homes and high energy bills. It's not like industry is providing much choice to the consumers. Sure, there are various energy efficiency systems, star ratings that try to provide us with warm, fuzzy feeling that we are all doing a good thing and we're saving the energy, money, and the CO2. However, we all know that there is performance gap between declaration and actual results of those measurement systems. Fractured and competing interest among major stakeholders in the construction process, with their individual interest in performance measures, lead to the lack of interest into achieving improved efficiency and building performance. What we can do is use either stick or a carrot. Stick is a regulation and legislation. Federal government has taken a long road to improving energy efficiency, changing national construction code with trajectory to the year 2030. Most important steps are planned for the next 5 years, but could be reviewed at any time and at any step, depending on the pressure from interest groups. Good news is that the implementation of National Construction Code changes will also be retroactive. The implementation will include existing building stock. Carrot, on the other hand, will be market benefits, increased yield, reduction of risk, and improved quality of product. Demand has to come from end users or from mortgage holders. Demand from end users is rather straightforward. We all know what the benefits of passive house are. Additional benefit for end users in Australia is that air could be filtered, potentially eliminating smoke caused by increased bushfires. I believe Cameron Joel might be presenting on this conference with more details. Demand from mortgage holders for energy efficiency is not direct, simply they don't have a direct benefit. However, increased quality of the product that is collateral for their loans can be an incentive to provide better mortgage rates to the end users. Equally, reduced energy bills will provide more disposable income to consumers and reduce repayment risks for buyers of passive house properties. Some banks have already provided better interest rates for passive house buyers. In any case, opportunities for promoting and implementing passive house standard are realistic, in some instances well underway. What is needed is additional education to all participants for all of these benefits for everyone's good. When it comes to COVID-19, our lives, our economy and our industries will be different in post-COVID world. Full extent of the change is still unknown, but global disruption is created to health system, economies, social relationships, communication, geopolitics. It's time of reconsideration of values from personal, generational, national and cultural. It is likely that more people will be working from home, either full-time or part-time. Distant learning will be more prominent. All in all, we'll be providing more time with our families and in our homes, and we will be expecting for them to be more comfortable, to have healthier environment and energy efficiency. Work in the cities will be less important, but more and move towards the regions is already taking place. In any way, the world will have to be replanned and redesigned, so it will be more work for us, and passive house system provides some important opportunities for that new world. Environment in our homes can be healthier, preventing or minimizing growth and spread of various pathogens. End users are often unaware that their homes can be with the moisture and mold and dust can be avoided. A lot of money and time has been invested by various stakeholders to convince users that their products and their designs are the only available option, and that all this bad stuff is unavoidable. It is known that passive house certified buildings are more comfortable. An important part of the post-COVID world will be that those buildings are much healthier as well. Controlled environment provides for opportunity to live and work in buildings where viruses will have less chance to survive and spread. In conclusion, there are many reasons to be optimistic about future passive house implementation on a large project despite huge obstacles at present. All the obstacles we have seen are related to aversion to perceived risk, perceived because it is fear of something new and unknown. We all know that passive house is about reducing risk by implementing knowledge and science. Therefore, I think that education is the key, and these are the fields where integration should take place. Knowledge is a power. These efforts could reduce further undue resistance to implementing a passive house standard into our construction industry and achieving better quality of our built environment. Thank you very much.